Mesa with Kinsmade. You're probably familiar with my downloadable printable. This is a decal guide. It helps you with placement. It was created to use with a sheet protector, or what I prefer are these chopping mats I get at the dollar store. They come in a 2-pack. Here's the one that I'm using there at my workstation. I often use it for stamping, but I kind of came up with a new use for it this morning. Some of these you can see that I printed. The settings on my printer were kind of funny, had their own margins, and so some of these that printed at first were unusable, or so I thought. What I did was I cut down half of it and I decided to make a stencil. So here's what I did. I just used a really firm hard cardstock, cover cardstock, kind of heavy duty, and I just used my guides, my lines here, and I cut out the little windows. I do wish that I would have went ahead and done the outer stamping guideline for the actual stamper, just because when I mark these, the pencil mark actually forces you to come in slightly, and I know these are pretty close to exactly my nail size, and so these are going to end up being a little too small for my nail, which might work out good once I do the then I'll have a little margin for my top coat and my base coat to kind of merge. So maybe I did a good job. Anyway, so what I've done is trace off with the pencil using this stencil. The stencil really helps with placement on the nail, especially when you're using this piece. But these ones were in a straight line, so I'm going to have to just kind of fake it. Anyway, so I'm going to trace those off, and then what we're going to do is we'll paint them over with, I think the sparkle might make it really cute with this, but you want something that's primarily clear or very, very sheer to go over these. And what it's going to do is the lacquer is going to bind to the ink on here, and then we're going to wet it. We're going to let that dry. We're going to do a couple of coats and let that dry, and then we're going to scrape off the paper. We're going to soak it and scrape it off, leaving just your image for the full nail decal itself. Okay, I did go ahead and commit to the sparkle, so I just want to show you how I just apply this onto, just apply it right on. We're going to do a second coat, and if there's too much glitter, I might just go ahead and use a plain clear on the next coat. I'm just going to soak these. The decals, the paint on the decals has dried, so we're going to just soak them in water. We're going to get that paper all pulpy, and when the paper is really, really soggy, then we will just pick it off of the back. Okay guys, so this has been sitting for a little while in that water, and you can see that I can kind of peel up one of these little decals. You do not want to skimp on doing at least 2 thick layers of polish, of this clear polish, or it will be very difficult to stay together through this patch where you have to scrape off the paper. And you could just use your nails. You might find a scraper or something might work a little bit better. I may go ahead and put this in for another soak, but a bunch of the paper is already off. But that's what I'll do with each one of these, is just kind of start to peel it up at the edge and just get that paper off of there. Let me soak it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, at this point I've gotten most of the paper off of the back, and they're somewhat sheer. I don't know, you can kind of see between the blue and the black, or the blue and the white right there. You can see that line move. So they're kind of sheer in the places where there's no ink, and they're kind of sheer even where there is ink. So I think what I'm going to do is let them dry. I'm going to turn them over on the back, going to use my dotting tool, and I'm going to try to add in just a little bit of color, some solid color paint on the back. And I also need to decide what color I'm going to use as my base on my nails to get these on. Okay, so what I've done now is I have back colored just a little bit, the arms, the face a little bit with pink, this polish right here, just so that her flesh tone is a little more pronounced. And then you can see the one I've trimmed up to put on my own nail. Trimmed it up, and I'm going to stick it down with a little bit of super dry. Okay, so now I have my little decals all adhered. I did put them on a coat of white polish, just so that the opacity was solid under those little decals, and they have some shimmer. I might put a little sparkle on the other nail colors. But anyway, I just did a couple of decal nails because a few of them, I don't know, I just decided I didn't like how some of them turned out, so I went ahead and made that decision. I might save these for some more decal, for some more detail nails or accent nails later on down the road. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know how to use my mat, and you can get this for $2. It's a downloadable, printable mat that you can get on kinsmade.etsy.com.